welcome to this presentation where I will be introducing the FRG Micro Grants. FRG Micro Grants are small research grants that are funded by FRG. They should all be in the topic area of fire safety engineering. The size of the project is relatively small. We award up to 2,500 New Zealand dollars. This means that this type of funding, or the FRG microgrant funding, is suitable for student projects. If you're doing experiments and you want some additional equipment installed, you can apply for FRG microgrants. Or possibly if you have an existing project and you want to expand it, you want to do something extra, you want to pay someone to do an analysis, you can apply for FRG microgrants. We've tried to streamline the application process, so the only thing we want is an abstract. So we're looking at getting submissions between 300 to 500 words plus a budget. We basically very briefly want to know what you want to do with the funding. We want to know about your research project. The only deliverables that we want if you receive the funding is 2 videos. So we want one video, which is about 10 minutes long, which introduces your proposal. So what do you want to do? And you do that once you've received the funding. Now, once you've completed the project, then we want another video telling us about the project, what you did. And all of these videos, they will be published on our YouTube channel, freely available for anyone who wants to learn about the project. Now, in 2020, we've already announced it. We've already picked the recipients of the grant. And for 2020, we didn't announce it publicly. We actually contacted a couple of institutions and asked them if they would be interested to submit. We contacted institutions in New Zealand and Australia, and as I said, it was by invitation only, and we asked for applications from the University of Canterbury in New Zealand, Massey University in New Zealand, and the University of Queensland in Australia. Now, this approach might change in the future, but since this was the first time we ran it, we contacted universities and asked them to apply for the funding if they were interested. Now, we got a couple of contributions from the different institutions and decided to award funding to a total of 4 projects. And the 4 that have been awarded are from the University of Canterbury, a study by Andres Valencia, which is called Fire Spread on Plastic Fuels at Different Inclinations. And what Andres wants to do, he wants to do a project with students where he looks at fire spread and how he can study fire spread on PMMA plastics on different inclinations. So basically looking at different test methods to do this, and then students will do some experiments and collect some data. The other study from the University of Canterbury that was funded is called Door Reliability for Fire Safety in New Zealand Buildings. It's by Dennis Powell. And what Dennis wants to do, he wants to build on research that Kevin Frank at Brands did in his PhD. So Kevin developed a sensor that you could put on doors to see when doors are open and how open they are. And this was a prototype that Kevin developed, but Dennis, he wants to take this another step. And he wants a student project where Dennis produces a lot of sensors that you put on doors all across campus, could be in other places in Canterbury, New Zealand, to collect data on when doors are open and closed. And why do we want to know that? Well, it's interesting to know from a fire safety engineering perspective. When we're doing design, we want to know when doors are open and closed, both fire doors and ordinary doors, since it goes into the computer modeling. We also decided to fund one application from the university, from Massey University. That project is called Evacuee Tracking Using Kinect. It's by Reno and Xenon. And what they will do is that they will use the Kinect, which is a gaming device originally, which does the full body tracking. And they want to see if they can use that to track evacuees as they're evacuating the building, which is a quite useful tool. If you can do this and you can automate it, then you can easily collect data when you do fire drills. So this could be a neat feature for the future. And this will be done as a summer project by a student. Now, the final project we decided to fund was from the University of Queensland in Australia, and it's entitled Scale Testing of Fires in Open Plan Timber Compartments. It's by David and Juan. And what they want to do, they have a rig already, and what they applied for was some additional equipment to put, measurement equipment to put in this rig. So these are some examples. These are the studies that have been funded in 2020. So the round has already closed. But it gives you an idea of what type of project that we are willing to fund with the FRG Micro Grant. Now, hearing about these interesting projects, you're probably keen to learn even more than what I told you. So some advice is to keep a lookout for short presentations on our YouTube channel, hashtag FRG2. There will be 2 short lectures, video lectures per project that have been funded. The first one, which will appear in the next couple of weeks for each of the projects, is a short proposal presentation where the idea and the problem behind it is introduced, and that's about 10 minutes per project. And then when the project is finished, which is any time from half a year to maybe a year or 1.5 years, you will get another presentation, which is the full project presentation. That will be about 15 to 20 minutes. And then either the researcher or the students who did the project will tell you a bit more about what they achieved and how the funding was used. So to summarize, I first went through the details of the FRG Micro Grants. I then told you about the recipients in 2020, and then finally I told you how to learn more about this. And the way to learn more about it is to check out our YouTube channel, since we will be publishing videos there. A total of 8 videos will be published. First, just the initial presentation of the project idea, and then once the project has been completed, you will see the full a full video presentation telling you what they did.